Acknowledging where you're at is one thing. It's important to appreciate where you're at, even if it's not perfect and ideal. And realize that even when you get to the ideal, perfect place where everything lines up, you'll still want something else that's more. It's part of life to have this growth that's exponential. And if it was only like going up, even then, it still plateaus eventually and goes up again. Mountain mindset. Mountain isn't just like a steep. There is some like that, but you'll see it in the world. If you wish, you can definitely look at statistics to see what does that look like in terms of going up and down. There's a lot of terminology that exists that explains patterns of why things go down or why things go up, and I feel like that personally, I tend to be analytical. I like to understand things, and I have some level of this what's it called? What's the term? Dysfunction, like deficient deficiency, dysfunction, yeah, with emotions. Like I feel my feelings, but I have a lot of trouble pinning them down and being able to verbalize, oh, I'm feeling sad. I don't feel sad. Like there's a list of emotions. I don't know how many different adjectives you can use to describe them. I don't have them because I'm not used to be in an environment where people, first of all, have the openness to hear that I'm feeling whatever type of way without telling me like, well, suck it up and do better, do right. There's nature and nurture. Nurture is you can learn today, you can educate yourself in that sense, but to go back on it, away from the tangents I went on, I'm not necessarily used to describe emotional challenges, so I try to go with logic. That way I know I will be able to understand, and if I have to verbalize it, somebody else will be able to understand because whatever I'm talking about is logical. That's why I said statistics, because statistically you'll have a visual of something that goes down, that goes up. There will be a pattern recognition as to why that is, and it's not based on my opinion or some dude or Joe Blow, Miss Ma'am opinion, but generally on data, on experience, and it's gonna be explained over time, and it's also gonna be explained in, if you look at statistics visually, and the statistics you take is, I ask a question, I ask it to a small group of people compared to a large group of people, a diverse group of people compared to the same type of individuals. The answers that are going to come out, the connection I'm going to be able to make between a question and an answer, between a problem and its reason, between a resolution and the reason why the issue even happened in the first place, are going to come up very broad, very different, or very specific. I started to talk about this because executing and focusing on doing better and on trying to get new tools sounds great. That's also a process. Acknowledging this is the tools I have right now, I need new tools. Okay, it's a process in itself. Looking at all the different tools available and being like overwhelmed by like, yo, do you know how many different type of industries exist and how there's specific terminologies for each of these different fields? That's also a process. And realizing what kind of industry or environment can best explain what I need to do next, can best explain what already happened before, and what is happening now, and clarify this is where you're at, and these are the options available to you. There's no finish line when it comes to execution. When it comes to dysfunction, execution is you start something, you finish. When you finish, yeah, it's done, right? I have an issue with finishing stuff. I have a lot of great ideas. I feel like a lot of people have a great potential, but either they don't have the tools, either they don't have the awareness of what they need to do next, or they do. They have tools, they have awareness, they have even like, I'll say so I don't speak to other people. I feel like I met a lot of people, including myself, whether it was in school or at work or when I was traveling within my province or when I went to other school boards, etc., where or other corporate environments as well. And I ended up seeing it as like a human problem, not like an issue because of age or because of region or because of the color of your skin or because of how much money you do or don't have. Generally, as a human being, there's gonna be things that you'll find challenging to do or that you'll find challenging to get over. And the speech will be helpful. Communication and conversation will be helpful, but eventually it will come down to execution. You and I can have great potential. A lot of people have had great potential. We've met them, we've seen it. There's a lot of media being created over that untapped potential trope. It's part of the human experience. Truly, like my friend, life is what you make it. So if you live your life in your head or in your bubble because you are in some way overwhelmed by absence, overwhelmed by presence, overwhelmed by structures, you have trouble functioning in settings that you don't understand or that you do understand but don't respect, or do understand and respect but have trouble maintaining. These are all different ways, and there's more, that things can be dysfunctional. So how can you go from logic, understanding concepts or statistics visually or intellectually, right, by verbalizing it, or intellectually by reading, right? And shift it into bringing this awareness of what's around you, this awareness of what you have within logically and what you have, like within, that you keep, under wraps, we'll say. I feel like it's necessary to not just go with the band-aid solution, but also kind of process you're not late. You're not early. You are where you are right now. my statement just now is not a statement about concretely looking at a schedule and being late or early for appointments, for school, for bills, for whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being aware of dysfunction, wanting to do something about it, dealing with it, and trying to do, okay, how can I execute better, differently? How can I, you know, change what I'm expecting, and how can I change the expectation of others for me? How can I do that? Where do I start? Where do I continue? Personally, I felt like the first step was to ask better questions, research, listen. But at some point, truly, you can have the best ideas because it came from you, because it came from conversation, in terms of wanting to build a business, wanting to go to the next step for your goals, wanting to connect with new people, to travel to new places, to, connect in new ways towards elevating your mentality or elevating how you deal with your issues or your challenges so far, your responsibilities that you've been dealing with or that you wish to deal with eventually. We can get stuck in awareness and knowledge and speech, like I feel like I'm doing right now, and not end up in execution. So many people have great business ideas, it didn't become a business. So many people have ideas for books or the potential to meet up with other people so that they can share information, not just opinion, but genuine information that will be helpful in terms of, how can you organize your house better, or your planning for your week, or any topic, truly, not even just fiction, but concrete skills that are helpful for any human being that just is existing, and it's not published, and it's not shared, or it's not heard. And the main reasons is because there is limits within your, yourself, within these individuals, that to some extent limits the want that is rational and the ability to be completely effective that is also rational. There's like a clash. Ay, 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 Lord. So, we're gonna be in June in a few days. I'm really going with the flow. I know what I need to do, but I'm truly going with the flow of doing what I can and accepting that that may not be perfect. I've also been more vocal in the past few weeks, few months about my limitations and being okay with people saying that they're not okay with it. And I think it correlates also in business, because you have to become used to say, this is something I do, or actually, this is not something I do. I'm sorry. I wish you the best. Maybe I know somebody that can help you, right? The more challenges or dysfunction, quote unquote, that happens, if you genuinely find a way to assess what's happening, to assess the reason behind what the fuckery is happening as well, you can understand a bigger picture and see the pattern. So I was talking about statistic at the beginning because it makes you understand patterns. And I used to say, and I know for a fact, I used to say I don't like math, I'm bad at math. It is not true. It's something I said when math started to fuck with letters. But when I was forced to have to do assignments, whenever I sat down for hours at a time and generally understand the concept, eventually it made sense to me. Any type of dysfunction that is happening within your ability for school, academics, for work, professionalism in general, doesn't matter. For your circles, communication with anyone, your family, your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, potential, any human being you have to interact with in any setting. You see a dysfunction, you see a problem that people have a problem with you, or you have a problem with them, or vice versa, or both. Doesn't matter. When you start to see a pattern and not analyze, not to be negative and not to be judgmental, not to hit yourself on the head and say that you suck, that's not what I'm doing. Seeing, looking at the bigger picture and seeing, well, these books are all over the place. Maybe, you know what? If I was to add a shelf right here for the books that are here, where I'm trying. The books that are here and the books that are here, it will look prettier. It would be less like chaotically organized. And maybe it will be easier as well if I want to take a book to just take it without some sort of Zaboom food closet shit happening. This applies in all the sectors, for academics, for professionalism, for your communication with your circle, any human being ever in your life. When you start to see a pattern, it's easier to find solutions and implement new tools, put some structure into how you see the different interaction, how you see the problem, how you receive it as well, and how you deal with it, and then how you manage it, because you understand what the fuck I feel, how the fuck do I receive it, sorry for cussing, and how am I, how could I deal with this differently? And there's not one answer or 11. There's a plethora. It's a process. It's pretty much where I'm at right now. Yeah. So yeah, communicated things are where they are. Things are okay technically, but I'm not managing the way I know I could be. I'm not doing my level of willingness to achieve certain things and my ability are just not on the same fucking vibration. They're close, they're parallel. The point is so that they become like adjacent and eventually they meet. The expectation of what you would like and what you're able to do to make it happen is a process that eventually meets. But it takes time and it's a process. And maybe it's gonna do a bunch of this shit, okay? Maybe it's gonna cross and it works perfectly and then it crosses and then you have to meet it again. I have faith in your potential. I have faith in yourself. People will get like fuck potential, man. I don't know how many times I heard this little speech. Oh, this you is so full of potential. Oh, insert your name. Is so full of potential. They just need to do this. Yeah, I mean, if I just need to do that, I would be doing it, right? For some reason, I'm not able to. For some reason, I can't. For some reason, this is a group effort. It's not just about me. On this, I wish you joy, peace, balance, and patience within this process of figuring out a way to, understand theory and bring this theory to application. We're on this again. Anyways, we're all in life together, but we're all on our own path, and that's okay.